real treat. I am so honored. I'm going to get a little bit emotional. I'm so honored to be here with the members of the Memphis 7, a name given to a group of 7 employees fired from Starbucks in Memphis, Tennessee, following their efforts to unionize their store. We have a lot to unpack in this conversation, so I'm going to jump right into introductions, and if you could all just raise your hands when I say your name. I'm so pleased to introduce Nabretta Hardin. Hi, Nabretta. LaKota McGlawn. Hi, LaKota. Kylie Throckmorton. Thanks, Kylie. Nikki Taylor. Hey there. Beto Sanchez. And Emma Worrell. Thank you all for being here. So we saw Cortland Harrison yesterday at the first day of our event talk about his efforts to unionize a Starbucks store in Buffalo and sort of the efforts he went through that were very, very difficult. I'm wondering if you can all speak to the working conditions you encountered in your Starbucks in Memphis and what motivated you to unionize.
So if you guys saw Cortland speak, one of the things was definitely pay. No seniority pay. We can barely afford one-bedroom apartments with the pay that we have in the Starbucks at Memphis. A lot of our partners were struggling, had to get roommates, had to get second jobs just to afford regular living or the cost of living versus eating, things like that. Definitely safety precautions. Not only is our building unsafe, I mean, we've had people hurt themselves falling because our tiles are out of whack or wires hanging, things like that. But also COVID precautions were little to none. We had our managers not doing their COVID check-ins. We had customers telling us they had COVID and coming to order. I worked for 2 days with a employee that tested positive for COVID, and I brought that home to my 8-year-old. So it's things like that that made it feel like we needed this union.
Oh, and there's definitely accountability as well. One of the biggest issues that we've had would be managers trying to enforce certain things upon us so that they wouldn't be following themselves. The COVID check-in would be an important thing because that's for liability. You know, whenever there is an incident in this place, that check-in tells you exactly who was where, at what time, on what day. If the managers themselves aren't following this and aren't following the same safety protocols and procedures that they're enforcing on us, then the point is moot at that point. It's putting us all in unnecessary danger. At this point, we've had so many incidents happen at our store, whether it's, you know, we've had customers threatening to hit us, you know, throw stuff at us, stab us, or just threatening our general safety. Our managers don't do anything. At this point, we've had to, I guess, trauma bond with each other, trying to see how much farther it can get until the managers decide to do something. And at this point, it was just silence. The biggest thing that Starbucks likes to do is protect their image more than they've protected their employees. I mean, they have this image of being a very progressive, forward-leading company, but it is also simultaneously union-busting everywhere it can. Everywhere you see on Starbucks, it talks, you know, oh, we care about Black lives, we care about indigenous lives, we care about pride, we care about this, but whenever it actually comes to show what you got and what you actually care for, at the end of the day, they would rather fire Black, people of color, gay employees for unionizing and decide to pick whatever enforcements they'd like to, I guess, use against us for our terminations.
Absolutely. Can you talk about what it was like when you tried to start organizing and what the sort of response was?
So we started following the unionization process in Buffalo around September-ish. Our manager at the time was very much pushing for us to unionize and everything. We were watching the live stream of when they shut down the Buffalo stores and everything. So we started looking at our conditions, and we saw what was happening in Buffalo, and we decided this might be what's best for us. So we contacted the partners in Buffalo, and we got onto a Zoom call with them, Martin Luther King Jr. night, and we were talking about why we wanted to unionize and everything, and what the process was going to look like with filing our letter and everything. And towards the end of the session, the person we were talking to was just like, you know what? You guys are in Memphis, and it's Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Do you guys just want to file tonight and go public tonight? And we sat there for an extra hour writing our letter, and then the next day we printed our cards, got everybody to sign them within a couple of days, sent them out, and ever since we went public, we've been surveilled a lot, like people I never met coming into my store every day. We had a lot of customers come in. we had a lot of customers come in and belittle our baristas and try and threaten them and try and make them leave the store and make them feel unsafe to the point to where they wanted to quit. And a lot of our baristas are suffering significantly because they can't get enough hours to pay their bills or anything. And like Nikki said, a lot of our people right now are like, well, do we want to feed ourselves, or do we want to have a place to live or have electricity or heat or anything like that?
And there is significance in the day that we pick specifically. Memphis itself historically has been a union city for the longest time. Any part or job or discipline that you would be a part of would be a part of a union. At this point, I mean, corporations have taken advantage of the fact that a lot of the newer workers aren't realizing the benefits that they would have through unions, you know, depending on where you are. And that's part of the significance of this. We have members here whose own grandparents were marching along with Dr. Martin Luther King himself in Memphis. It's picking up where they left off at this point because, I mean, whether it was Kellogg's, whether it was the sanitation workers, there's a lot of union history. And being that we saw the Starbucks corporate Twitter account using Dr. Martin Luther King's quote just to market something, yeah. We thought it was pretty bad, and that's what I kind of pushed us to unionize that day.
Yeah, absolutely. What are the sort of union busting tactics that you've seen that have affected you the most?
Well, Memphis 7 was fired. So there's that. And we were used as a scare tactic to tell people across the world not to unionize. They say that we weren't fired for union efforts, but I've heard more than one store managers walking up to people trying to unionize, and their excuses, did you see what happened in Memphis? Don't be like the Memphis 7. Y'all don't want this. But again, we didn't get fired for union busting tactics. There's also the surveillance of store managers, support managers that aren't supporting anything but their anti-union propaganda. They've had what they want to call one-on-one meetings, which turn out to like 4-on-1 meetings, and it's managers from corporate, managers in store that are coming, and they are literally saying vote no to the union. They're telling that they're going to lose benefits. They're saying that they're going to lose their rights to certain things. That it's absolutely false information. They've taken down our pro-union posters and put up anti-union posters. Lots of scare tactics to get people to vote no or to quit. They also have flooded our stores with employees that they feel like are going to vote no. So when we were fired, we had 20 employees. 7 were fired. That took it down to 13. There are now 27 employees in that store. So they're trying to flood the store with new people who they think will vote no, so that we won't get this unionization process through.
Yeah, they're just following a playbook for sure. But you all have been so amazing. You've been protesting outside the store. You're so inspired. Again, I'm gonna cry. And so can you talk about like the response you're getting from customers and how that looks?
Yeah, that's actually part of what's been helping us the most. Even since we've started with the picketing or protesting, the community has been our biggest help so far. The biggest tool Starbucks has used against us is misinformation. Every single time their spokesperson gives a quote to the media, they're always saying the same, very generic, they were fired for this policy. The reason we got fired is not why we got fired.
Yes.
My termination paper literally says I was fired because I had my mask off while off duty. As far as I'm concerned, if I'm off duty, it's never been something that's been forced upon customers. There's no mandate for us in our store. And that's probably what's been helping us the most. The customers see what we've been doing, and Starbucks wanted us to make these personal connections with these customers, and that's what's been kind of backfiring against Starbucks. Because the people who are our regulars, 8 a.m. every day getting our coffee, are now seeing that their favorite baristas were thrown out to the streets.
And they've been on the picket lines with us every day, in the cold, in the rain. They'll call us and be like, hey, I know it's 30 degrees outside, but we're out here picketing. Where are y'all? So our community support definitely in Memphis has been amazing. The community support, I mean, across the nation really has been awesome. I mean, we're getting inboxes to stay strong and solidarity every day, and it's what helps us get up and keep this fight, because we're not just fighting for ourselves. We're not even fighting for Starbucks. We're working for the working class, period.
Absolutely.
Because, of course, Starbucks is doing this to us, but we're not the only people doing this. So we're fighting for a better working class, period. I know personally, for me, I have an 8-year-old that if she has to be part of the working class, I want her to have better conditions. So I'm going to fight until we get that.
Exactly.
Bravo. What sort of advice would you give to consumers who are like regular Starbucks shoppers who want to go there but now are reconsidering it?
Okay, so it's always a choice. Like, we've gotten two divisions, like, we've gotten two sides from the community. It's we're going to boycott Starbucks and support local coffee shops, which is a completely valid route, and I completely agree with that route. But if you do make the choice of going to Starbucks, go to a Starbucks that's unionizing. If you go on to Starbucks Workers United Twitter, they have all of the stores that are working towards unionizing. If you're gonna go into just any Starbucks you go into, support your baristas, ask them how their day is, be kind to them, tip really well, because a lot of baristas go through a lot of crap on a daily basis, and just a little human decency makes the day a lot shorter and a lot better. So definitely go in and be kind. Tell them that you support them if you go into a unionizing store. If you do like mobile orders, you can do like Union Yes or Union Strong. You can do anything like that, but definitely don't be afraid to go into Starbucks and show your support, because it sends the message to corporate that this is going to be a good thing for the workers, and it's going to be a good thing for the community, because unions are good and they help everybody in the long run.
Absolutely. Did you want to say something? One of the things that I love about this is that you're also young and you're also passionate. And I think so many of the Starbucks workers are young, but they don't know that they have power. And so my next question is advice to all of these stores across the nation, across the world, who want to have better working conditions and feel safe and feel confident in their jobs.
I mean, that's the important part that I guess is relevant in any industry. Coffee itself is an industry that's very ripe for unionization. We have not only the retail front, we have the supply chain front, we have the manufacturing front, we have the coffee farmers themselves that are all going underneath the same scrutiny under this company. I couldn't even imagine the conditions for the supply chain employees while COVID was happening, because while we were short-staffed with very little coverage, so were the distribution plants and factories that were sending us our deliveries. At this point, the important part is to remember that numbers is a very important game. There's always going to be more of us than there will be of the people that are in charge of us. What's helped us the most is the power in numbers, and that's probably what's been our biggest thing. I mean, when it was just the 7 of us outside the store, we were able to shut it down in the middle of the day, and now we have over 20, 30. We've even had enormous crowds outside of our store seeing what we're doing, and that's the important part, is getting eyes on it, seeing and recognizing the power between people. I mean, that's something that's prevalent in, I believe, every single industry, every single class, is to be able to recognize your power in numbers.
I would definitely say that the younger generation has a louder voice than most. I feel like we show up and show out. Well, I'm a little older than the rest of the people on this panel. But show out and show out. What I think is going to be a huge influence is a lot of the community spending that we have right now as young people. So definitely still have that voice. Be loud, be proud, don't be afraid. And if you are afraid, know that across the nation, solidarity is a thing, and it's been amazing. Like I said earlier, it's what's keeping everybody's going.
Absolutely. One of the Starbucks workers in Buffalo said, "I fight for love, for what I love." And you talk about what's motivating you all to keep going. It's not just to keep your lights on. It's not just to like make sure that you can buy groceries. It's so that every worker can do those things and have a good life.
Exactly, it's a selfless thing. Every single person, I've seen a lot of people telling me just to get a different job, get a better job. It's not about that at the end of the day. I could have left at any point I wanted to. The point is to be able to help every single worker that I can, because this is a story that's not new, whether it's corporations taking advantage of workers. This is happening everywhere in every industry and every company.
Yes.
And the important part is to take that first step forward, whether you're by yourself or whether you're with your workers.
And I definitely stand here with 5 of my family members, and none of us are selfless to each other, so why would we be selfless to the world?
Exactly.
I love these people with my entire heart. It's been a fight, and they have been behind me the whole time. But like I said, we're not just fighting for each other. Like, we're gonna look back at this 10 years from now and know that the difference that's being made, we made that together. And like I said, that's another thing that keeps me going. There's 6 more Florentinos out right now, but having them by my side has been what's kept this fight, and us continue to tell each other we're doing something huge and we're gonna make a huge difference for the future. Like, I am super excited to work with these people to have that change.
What a beautiful point to end on. I want to thank all of you for being here. Let's give them a standing
Thank you so
ovation,
much.
please. Thank you so much.
Good job.